Maxwell's demon.
When did you become an expert in thermonuclear astrophysics?
Last night. The packet. Your notes on the extraction theory? Was I the only one who read the papers? I do like Avengers 1 more than any of the other Avengers movies.
It's got a charm to it.
It does. It really does. Also, fantastic cast. No need for unnecessary fluff. And the villain? Stunning. I'm not really into the whole big purple bozo, so, you know.
I mean, I like Thanos.
I don't. He annoys me.
He annoys you because he's purple.
That's not really a problem I have with him.
I thought the problem was that you watched the movie like 4 times and it ended up hurting your head because the coloring of Thanos fucked with you.
Oh, I mean, there's that too, but so does the coloring of Loki when he goes Jotun.
He does that for like 5 seconds in the entire film.
I know, and it also bothers my eyes.
There's a difference between the character that's on screen the entire film and is pretty much the main character of one of the films versus a character who does that for like 5 seconds just to make a point.
Here. Cinderella didn't do that to me. Like, I still like Cinderella even though that movie hurts me to watch.
I'm going to call bullshit because you've openly said the opposite. That it does bother you. You do like the movie,
yeah,
but it does fucking bother you.
Yeah, but I don't dislike the character because of it. I like the character.
We about to get into a debate on Thanos here?
I am benevolent, I just don't like him. Except for in that one fanfiction I read. There he's acceptable. And no, I'm not going to get into the specifics of that one fanfiction because it was a little weird. And a little out there and very out of character and alternate universe. In the strangest of ways. As are many of the fanfictions I read. That aside, though, back to the actual fucking thermodynamics. Holy shit, y'all. Here's the... Why? Why would you choose, like, a thermodynamic thought experiment meant to prove that the second law of thermodynamics can be violated, theoretically, as a fucking servant? As the basis for any servant, right?
I don't know, but you're the one that picked him. Great pick for Halloween, by the way. You picked the scariest possible monster we could find.
Math!
Stem!
Yeah, I did. I picked what was scariest to me. Math!
Scary to me, too. Because, fun fact, neither of us are STEM majors.
No, that would be Vorn. And even Vorn doesn't do thermonuclear...
He doesn't do this thermodynamic shit. He does, like, computer science or...
He's a mechanical engineering major.
Is he mechanical?
He's supposed to be mechanical, so technically he does work with thermodynamics.
Not like this, I don't think.
Not theoretical thermodynamics. He works with applied thermodynamics. Like in the context of using it on things, I would assume. Not in the context of thought experiments, especially not ones proposed in 1867 by some stuck-up asshole who probably thought he was the shit. I'm going to be honest. I am going to pale in comparison at explaining this, right? But I've read the concept like 15 times over. And I kind of get it.
Good, because I don't think I can explain it, like the concept, but I can definitely explain why it's stupid.
Well, okay, so, alright. So, you have a box, right? And inside this box... There's a door between 2 chambers of gas. And there's a demon who has the control of this door. That's why it's called Maxwell's demon. I don't know why it's a demon. I think that's just a, kind of aesthetic choice, right? I could be wrong, but it seems more like an aesthetic choice than anything, because theoretically a human could do the same thing. So this could be, just anything, right? But theoretically, this demon controls the door between these 2 chambers of gas. And one of the chambers of gas is warmer than the other, and the way that he controls the door allows for fast-moving or hot particles to move to the cold room and heat it up, and it allows for some cold particles or slow-moving particles to move to the hot room and cool it down. So both rooms are simultaneously heating and cooling and maintaining different temperatures. But it also has to do with the generation of energy by heat. Because according to the second law of thermodynamics, right, there is a point where like energy generated by heat ceases to be efficient, right? Like there's a point where it starts becoming wasteful. Like once you heat it up to a certain point, it's no longer efficient in the cycle of entropy and thermodynamics, because the second law deals with entropy. That's what we're talking about. And it has to do with that as well, because some versions of Maxwell's demon describe the box conundrum as also having a heating element on one side of it, right? Because Maxwell's demon, there have been further theoreticals upon the original, with people trying to disprove the second law of thermodynamics over the years since the original theory came out, right? So several other people have tried to propose slight adjustments to the idea of Maxwell's demon in the hopes that they can actually get it to break the second law of thermodynamics, right? Which is interesting because, like, here's the thing. You understand the second law of thermodynamics. We all naturally understand the second law of thermodynamics, right? The general idea, through statistical probability, that if you put something hot near something cold, the temperatures will reach equilibrium, right? If you bring hot coffee out on a cold day, you will heat up the area around you and the coffee will cool down, right? If you put ice in a hot drink, it will equalize to a middle temperature. That's the idea of entropy.
You're never losing or gaining, if I'm not wrong. That's it, right?
With some discrepancies, yes. The idea is that you're not losing or gaining. Things are just kind of changing and moving. Mm-hmm. If the atoms are moving too fast, they slow down with the introduction to cold. If they're moving too slow, they move up with the introduction of heat until the affected areas are at equilibrium. Now, there's a couple correlations and like addendums to the law that state that there are ways.
There are ways to lose, I believe, but not gain.
Yeah, ways to lose but not gain. Basically, at a certain point, right, in the heating process, you cease to be able to generate an efficient amount of energy, right?
I want you folks to know that I'm only remembering any of this because of Madoka Magica.
Jesus fucking Christ. So, where was I?
Somewhere in thermonuclear dynamics.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about the two different... Yeah. See, here it is. This is what I mean. Average speed of molecules in B will increase while A will have slowed. Since the average response to temperature decreases in A and increases in B.
That's right. You could technically lose, but you cannot gain. But it's also hard to lose and gain and I only remember this because of Madoka. That's where we were at before audio hiccups.
Yeah. And technically, if you put a heat engine in, right, this is where I got that, operating between them, it could extract use from the temperature difference, but only so long as it didn't equalize fully. So, theoretically, the heat engine would continue to rise the temperature in one room, but he would have to, like, let off some of the heat into the other room to allow space for the heat to keep increasing and being an efficient producer. Because if you just let the heat keep increasing in one room with no way to kind of bring the level down, it stops being effective. Or if the heat is just pumping into heat, you need that difference there to make the engine efficient, right? Which, I mean, it's interesting, but on the whole, as far as I'm aware, the idea of this law has not been violated, right? Like, statistics have been run on this, and statistically, we have not managed to prove a way that the second law of thermodynamics would be violated.
Isn't the
properly.
Giant gaping hole here that having there is no such thing as an energy neutral demon that can open and close doors, and B, the use of, like, if you're opening and closing doors rapidly, you are using burning energy that way.
Well, but I think theoretically here, like, a human would be able to do the same thing in a box, but it just wouldn't work, right? Like, I think the demon is relatively irrelevant.
But this only makes sense in terms of entropy if we're only considering the inside of the box. If you're considering the outside of the box too, it is still following the laws of, or the second law there.
Well, you know.
At least that's my reading. I'm also not a STEM major. I am not a nuclear physicist.
Yeah. There's issues with it, obviously. Like, people have not disproven the second law of thermodynamics. There are corollaries, there are, like, addendums, there are things like that, but the law itself isn't violated, right? Fun fact, in computing, demons are named after Maxwell's demon. Yeah. And that's a daemon in a computer program is a background process that runs multiple systems all at the same time.
Makes sense.
And that's why it's named after Maxwell's demon, which I thought was pretty funny. The fact that this has so many fucking citations that are available for you to read, which is fucking hilarious. I, like, read a couple of these, like, some of the older ones, and, like, they're fucking wild. These men were just like, you fucking moron. Haha, no, you are the moron.
At the end of the day, we still haven't managed to disprove that law.
No, we have not. It is an interesting kind of theory. I did like this video, this image in particular with the little demon. Yeah, the little gremlin on top with the fucking mood. But
that
yeah.
gremlin energy when you start disproving long-held laws of physics.
That gremlin energy when you try to disprove long-held laws of physics. So you also just gave me a second thing for this video. Off the top of my head, right? A name that I was familiar with, but could not remember the exact context of.
Look, I'm going to be quite honest here. This could get its own video one day, so we don't need to go too deep into it.
Well, Nick Nack mentioned to me that he had another name prepped for the video. It's Akechi Mitsuhide.
Yeah, right? I pulled up a page.
And he's the assassin of Oda Nobunaga. Which I think I mentioned him when we did the original Nobu video. Mm-hmm. Like, I must have. There's no way I didn't. But he was a samurai in the kind of mid-1500s who was a bodyguard of Ashikaga Yoshiaki. And he obviously assassinated Oda Nobunaga, which is pretty fucking hilarious. You know, put an end to it. No, it didn't really do. I mean, technically he didn't assassinate him per se.
Not assassination.
He forced him to commit seppuku.
Yeah.
Because of the Honoji incident.
It was a betrayal.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it was where we have your temple surrounded, we're lighting it on fire to draw you out. You either come out and fight us, or you commit seppuku.
Mm-hmm. And then Mitsuhide thought that he would try to, like, make himself the new shogun. And Hideyoshi swiftly put that to an end. No. And then Hideyoshi was relatively swiftly put to an end by Toyotomi.
You mean Mitsuhide was relatively quickly put to an end by Toyotomi?
Yeah, that's the one. It's been so long since I've looked at I have been avoiding Japanese history ever since the last Japanese servant video because I spent too much time.
It's been a hot minute. Thankfully, I didn't need you to go too much into detail. We covered, like, the skim bare basics of this, and that's about what we needed.
Yeah, I want to say our last Japanese servant was, like, Cha-Cha or something? Like, from this period? Must have been Cha-Cha.
3 degrees of Toyotomi Hideyoshi.
Yeah, that's entirely fair. I do think it's a little funny that he was, like, shortly killed himself after killing Nobunaga. Like, what goes around comes around, my dude. So, you know, enjoy that. However, he didn't exactly have, like, a short lifespan. I mean, he was, like, 50-something when he died. This man was not, like, you know, terrible.
There's a lot more we could get into him on, but I'll save that for another
I figure if you say we have another, we could probably get into him again later. We'll get into him again later during a time when I can actually spend some time looking him up. The important part is that he was part of the Ashikaga shogunate in a relatively high position, and then he rebelled against Nobunaga in the Honoji temple and essentially caused his death.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, do I get to clicky into the?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Ads.
That said, it's not the least accurate thing. It almost looked like him.
Jesus.
Meet Maxwell's demon, a caster servant.
Okay.
Caster here is from Koha Ace and Type Redline. He's only a conceptual servant. While he does exist, his existence is extraordinarily weak compared to most servants. In a proper Fate universe, he may even be categorized as a phantom spirit at best.
Yes, I see his little kohais. The shades are really, really something.
We are back in Gouda Gouda territory.
I mean, this is not so much a slouch. I do love me a well put together man in a nice matching outfit. Look at his fancy little outfits. He is very cute. Don't know who that is, but this looks great. I mean, look at this. This is beautiful art.
Yeah, oh god, Type Redline has such amazing... It was so good they... Or actually, Type Redline just has insanely good art.
Well, now I want to read Type Redline.
I mean, it's available to you.
Is it in English?
I mean, there's fan translations.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
We could do a Type Redline at some point.
I've read worse.
We could do Type Redline on the channel.
Yeah, because that's nice.
Because Type Redline is the Koha Ace story taken seriously.
Yeah, I do think, I do see this notice here of the Führer. I would like some further context on that. Are you going to give me further context on that?
I don't think it was actually... You go ahead and click into that, because I don't think I actually go into it much. Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
His master's just straight Hitler.
That's cool, that's Hitler!
Type Redline takes place literally in the middle of World War II. The villains of Type Redline are the Nazis.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
I'm so glad that it isn't actually Hitler.
Surprise, Hitler Fate reacts.
I have never been so glad in my life for some Fate bullshit. But I'm so glad it wasn't actually Hitler.
That said, now knowing that Führer in Type Redline is a body double, does that mean eventually we can get Hitler Faker or Hitler Pretender?
Well, it says that he takes over in the Grail War because Hitler dies unexpectedly early. Yeah. And then he goes to Japan to participate in the Grail War. The Imperial capital, Holy Grail, strange story.
I did not poke into that specific detail much, so...
I'm glad I did. That was an interesting 2-second tangent. That was worth it. Some of our tangents aren't. That one was. What the fuck? I was not expecting Hitler today. You know what the worst part is? One of the people I follow on YouTube who talks about knitting community drama just posted about a knit-along drama over someone who made a pattern for a mystery knit-along, and then a bunch of people thought it looked like a swastika, so he had to redo the pattern, right? Because it's not that, like, the pattern wasn't a swastika, but it's less the intention and more what people see in it, and if people are seeing it that way, it's worth it to just redo the kind of thing. But anyways, so that's twice today that I've had surprise Hitler.
Surprise Nazi scares.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ.
But yeah, so he has technically appeared in FGO, but he is not. He's currently in NPC jail.
I see this.
So lasagna, come on, give him to us.
He does look a little bit like a slightly more modern, updated version in like a different color palette of Sherlock Holmes with the kind of the like slightly outdated mechanics floating around in the suit.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he like looks like him specifically.
No, but same sort of art direction.
It's a vibe. Yeah. Oh, look, a perpetual motion machine.
So you could scroll down if you want, because next time we go into abilities, he appears a couple times in FGO, but not much. He's only just been introduced in Redline.
We saw that.
But abilities-wise, the fun thing is that he's technically unkillable unless you can solve for him.
Oh, because he's a theory.
Yep.
So, like...
And since nobody can, not during World War II at least, he was summoned basically invincible, immortal. And not that he's got much scary about him other than that, though. He's not a
I don't know, man.
particular combat-oriented servant.
What's, in the words of Elrond, to face the long years of your life alone until they're all spent. There is something slightly terrifying about the idea of perpetual immortality that you cannot escape from.
For you. For other people, though.
Oh, maybe it's just me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, theoretically, I'd love to live forever, but also I'd hate to live forever because,
you would have to see the end of the universe.
Yeah, also the end of all your friends. Your family, your pets, the world you knew. Like, just imagine, like, look at the way that our grandparents treat the world today. It's so unfamiliar to them with so much new stuff. Imagine how we would be in 1,000 years if we were still around. You know? Like, when you grow up a certain way, you don't necessarily adapt well to brand new information so fast.
Go watch Farron. New episodes releasing every Friday on Crunchyroll.
Oh, God! Talking about depressing. Jesus. So that's the devil's proof, the personal skill. Okay.
So, his noble phantasm is called Maxwell's Demon, obviously. Mm-hmm. It creates an infinite magical energy due to the Maxwell's Demon law of thermodynamics thing.
Yeah, so basically he creates a paradox in which there is no theoretical loss of efficiency at a certain point. It just keeps increasing and increasing and increasing. Perpetually.
And it doesn't require even like a kickoff motion. While he does have that perpetual motion machine, it doesn't require it to pull off.
Okay, we're going on a slightly.
You will see that later. I actually do know where that goes up.
Oh, Neo Fuhrer.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was gonna say if we're not going there, we need to go there. Because I now have a second.
So the bigger thing about him isn't what you pull up here.
I just wanted to see if it doesn't really list who they did. Unless they didn't do anyone else.
He was a character designer for Saito Hajime, and that's it.
Have we seen Saito? Yeah, we have.
Shinsengumi.
Sorry, I just want to... Huh. Interesting. I figure I've seen enough servants now that I can safely do that sometimes if I'm curious to see if an artist has drawn another character I know.
We're reading an FGO novel eventually at some point in the channel. I don't know if it's before or after. It's after this. But you know like 90% of the servants in that novel.
Oh, okay.
Where was I? So, he himself is not scary. But because he's an infinite magical energy source, he's kind of like a holy grail. So what he makes can be much scarier than he is.
Oh, yeah. I see where we're going now with that. Yeah.
So now we're going to take a left turn into Looneyville. We're going to go see Akechi Mitsuhide now.
Okay, before we do that, I'd like to make a commentary here, right? So we were talking about how this month is themed after monsters, right? And theoretically, you wouldn't think of this as a monster. He doesn't look like a demon, whatever. But
science is scary.
Yeah, and you bring up the idea that, like, you know, he's essentially an unlimited power source, right? Like a grail. And it just kind of reminded me of, like, when often, like, really, really powerful characters in like, shows and manga and anime will be described as monsters. Like, especially, like, Luffy gets described as a monster a lot of the time. Because sometimes it feels like his power is infinite. Like, it just keeps increasing, right? Like, they literally call, like, the supernovas, like, the worst of generation, right? Like, Zoro's called a demon, etc., etc. Like, that does fit. Alright, Akechi Mitsuhide. Can I click it?
Yep.
Ah, love that. You want a Dyson V15? I don't have a close ad for that. Fuck. It's okay. It's going.
So this is Akechi Mitsuhide.
Okay.
He's also a caster class servant. And
I do like the flower of his house on... Yeah.
It is a pretty cool detail.
Oh, I like that.
He actually has multiple designs like an Ascended Servant. He is not playable in FGO either, though.
Interesting. I like how we kind of have, like, this more kind of, like, modernized version with a few throwbacks. And then you get something that's a lot more... I mean, look at that. You've got armor and the shoulder plates. You've got the sword and the kind of howdy, right?
So, I could be wrong, but there might be a reason for that.
What?
If I'm remembering my Gouda Gouda 3 event correctly, technically speaking, up until World War II, Akechi Mitsuhide survives. Like, he fakes his death or just did not die to Toyotomi Hideyoshi in that timeline. And he survives and is plotting, trying to prepare for his big plot.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if I'm correct on that, though, if that carries over to most timelines and not just the weird Singularity timeline that was in. But that's... I could be remembering that event wrong though.
Interesting. It's also interesting that they're both caster classes.
Yeah. Mitsuhide here.
Yeah.
He is the simp to end all simps for Nobu. He exhibits real incel energy, having gone insane in his love for her. Basically, he has this idealized Nobunaga in his head that can rule the world. Mm-hmm. When Nobunaga strayed from that ideal towards the end of her life, he confided and she started confiding more in Hideyoshi, who everyone calls Monkey.
Yep.
He decided to kill her and preserve that mental ideal he had.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Lovely. Love that.
Get yourself a man like this.
Huh. Interesting.
We will get to the bottom.
I know. I actually meant the fact that he also applies for the Archer and Gunner servant classes. We haven't talked much about Gunner because that's pretty recent, right?
No, Gunner's always kind of been a background theoretical class, but usually it's just more efficient to summon them as an archer.
Okay. Yeah, because I see here he has no skills, no class skills, no personal skills, and no noble phantasm listed.
He actually might have those. It's just not listed yet. I couldn't find it. But so the only thing we really have note from him is that as a caster, he is capable of initiating complex rituals easily. This means that he can easily orchestrate a Grail War.
Okay.
He does this once in story in order to make the perfect Nobunaga. When this fails, he decides to make himself the perfect Nobunaga and become something called a Black Giant. Mm-hmm. An enemy that is introduced in Koha Ace. Now, you can scroll down and see it, but I'm going to have you open the next page.
Okay.
Because these are
love this, like, humongous One Piece ad. That has been the ad for the last 3 pages, I just realized. Like, this is all a One Piece ad.
So, this is the Black Giant.
Okay, I'm gonna... Okay.
In Koha Ace, it's usually created using Maxwell's demon. Mm-hmm. It's possible to say that this is the true power of Maxwell's demon here. Mm-hmm. These things are energy distortions that are byproducts of his noble phantasm. Mm-hmm. They're incredibly powerful monsters that can be seen as being on the level of gods in terms of strength. Some of them will grow in power the longer they exist thanks to Maxwell's demon, and it usually takes a lot of servants working together in order to take one down. When Maxwell's demon is involved, they can even multiply. Mm-hmm. One thing you'll see here, though, is if you scroll down, you should see alternate variations of them.
Neofuhrer!
Yep.
I needed this.
This is the one that appears in the original Koha Ace.
I'm gonna be honest, and this might be a little bit of an interesting comparison here. This shit looks like the Iron Giant.
A little bit.
And a little bit like the one from Ghibli's movie Castle in the Sky, Laputa.
Yes.
It looks a little bit like Laputa, the giant.
But in one incident, Mitsuhide turns himself into a black giant, which you can see towards the bottom. It looks a little bit different.
Jesus. I'm sorry. It's
the little chibi Maxwell's demon standing
next to him.
It's
so funny. Wait, now I have a question. Hold on. A quick Google to see if I can answer my question. Okay, never mind. Alright. Jesus! Oh, Christ. I'm so glad we weren't covering fucking James Clark Maxwell on his own.
No. No, we're not.
Okay, so Demon of the Sixth Heaven, Akechi Mitsuhide. Alright, so that's... There's another one down there.
You can scroll down if you want. I think I didn't make special note of this, but yeah, no, this is one that appears during the big giant, like Nobu Battle Royale.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
they're like slight differences. Oh yeah, this one's like more red than the top one. This is the god of Makuzu. Oh, that one has a lot.
Yeah. This is the one that multiplies and.
Okay. Fucking Maxwell's equation. Which one? There's like 50. I'm sorry. I hate math.
So, I do have some boss fights for these black demons. You don't have to watch them all, but if you want to get a look at how some of them...
Demonic probability.
Proboscio
Probatio Diabolica.
Which it translates to demonic?
Approximately.
Ah.
Yeah. Demonic probability. Well, and Maxwell was known for, a lot of things. He was a statistician, created a bunch of equations and theorems and all sorts of bullshit. Alright, so you've got some videos for me.
Yep. Just seeing some of these things in motion. The audio's not working, doesn't matter.
Oh, that's my fault.
We've had to fuck with this every time.
It's okay. Oh, I know him.
Ryoma.
Yeah.
And or you.
Yeah.
OTP.
Yep. I don't know him.
You don't know him.
No.
It's in Japanese.
Come on. Oh, I can hear it from over there quietly. Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck your computer is doing.
It's playing everything out of my laptop speaker, even though we're connected on here. I don't fucking know. I mean, I could make an educated guess as to who that is. Or what they might be a part of based on their outfit.
Well, if you want, we can move on to the next one, because they're not going to be that different, but I figured I'd show you both. This is the big, giant god one.
Makuzu?
Yeah. You know all of those characters.
And Kath Plug!
I think you generally like all those characters, too.
Yeah, because that's Demon Mommy Nobu.
Yeah, Zuge there, and then there's just Merlin chilling.
Yep. I called him Kath Plug because I just like the idea that he's just a human Kath Plug. You know? I know he's not, but it's a fun idea in my head.
Hey, look, another servant you know.
Yeah! Is this Shakespeare?
Yep.
Oh, his fucking, I always forget, his little...
His sprite is old.
Yeah, it looks so weird. It was actually kind of hard to tell it was him because his face is so distorted from his art. Go, Demon Mommy. I believe in you.
I mean, this is her big fight in the event.
I know. I'm trying so hard not to be, overly profane in this episode or not to be, overly, R-rated because, now that we have monetization, I've realized that being my normal cuss word full thirsty self puts us on minimum limited ads, if not no ad availability. So I'm trying to be very careful.
Somehow, though, you went 11 hours without tripping that sensor. I'm surprised that entire thing is...
To be fair, you did warn me about the time I was going to say something. For a joke, but yeah, okay.
So yeah, lasers and smashes. Now look, you know that character too.
Oh, I do! It's, hold on. Oh. Cults. American cults. Esoteric, aestheticism. So for some reason, because of the color palette, right? And the fact that it's a chibi character, the first thought in my head is Elizabeth Bathory, right? And I know that that's because of the color and the blank, the color and the chibiness. But it's not Elizabeth Bathory. It's what's her face.
Remember, she has that Russian Santa ult you like.
I know. Oh God, she hangs out with Moriarty.
No, Edison and Tesla.
Edison and Tesla. Ah!
You just saw her in the campaign, too, recently.
I know! I literally just brought her up to one of my professors the other fucking day, and I knew her name then. It was our first hour-long video, too.
This is gonna kill you.
At this point, I need to remember.
Well, they just killed the boss fight in the time it took you to remember.
Oh, shut the fuck up! Hold on. I know I know exactly who this is. I even have the reference right. I just keep thinking of Carmilla and Ellie-chan. For some reason, B.
Hey,
B is in my head. Nagao Kagetora. I love her. What the fucking...
I could tell you if you want me to, but I have a feeling this is a matter of pride.
Hold on. Let me me just... It's the grandma. Do either of her names start with an E or a B?
Yes, one starts with a B.
Okay. That's why I'm getting her fucking confused with Bathory. I think I have to give up.
I could tell you.
Yeah, I think you need to.
Helena Blavatsky.
I could not, for some reason, I could not shake Elizabeth Bathory from my head. Every time I thought of the name, I saw her in my head and thought Elizabeth Bathory or Carmilla.
Look, it's cheering you on.
What the fuck? I don't like that. I don't like that.
So, yeah, and that's it. This time there's no CEs because we wandered into NPC hell, and for the first time we're staying there.
Oh yeah, you're right. We haven't really had an all NPC character yet. At least we had something in the last video.
Or they just weren't in FGO at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, this time they're in FGO, but they're stuck in NPC hell.
Huh. That's fascinating.
Suffering. You checking on something?
Yes. Give me a second. I have an idea for the hint for the next servant, but only if you're down for it, because you'd have to say the second line.
I'm wondering if we had the same idea, but I need you to tell me.
Mine's the first two lines of a famous song from it. Mine was "Sing Once Again With Me, Our Strange Duet." We had the same idea, but different execution. Because this is the one I hear everywhere.
Whereas this is the one that's named after.
Oh, yeah, let me see. Oh, it's the same song. It's just the third verse.
Oh, yeah.
Sing once again with me.
We're thinking the same song. I'm just thinking the full song. You're thinking of a very specific section.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I can give the hint. I know this one then.
Okay.
All right. So this is our third video of the month for, Fate and Monsters, which means we're down to just our final video, which will be coming out.
Isn't this our fourth?
No, third.
Fourth.
Third.
The Pale Rider.
Yeah. Kukul Khan. Maxwell's Demon.
Oh, this is we're going on to our fourth.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm going to have to cut that. This is our third video.
Don't cut it out. Just move it to the end when you can let them see us being idiots.
But I said the name.
Oh, well, never mind.
So this
you ruined a good bit.
Our third video of the month. So our last one is the final Halloween video, and then next month we have a different theme.
Which will be revealed next time.
Will be revealed next video, so keep an eye out for that. But as to our next video, can I invite you all to sing once again with me, our strange duet.